Oh, no, we actually do have a change of pace. I'm going off of what I remember is definitely not correct. As ALUMOX coming in with the Fuchsia Ninjara. Very, very fantastic color scheme. Haven't had a chance to see a Ninjara in play in a very long while. Really interesting character. Really high movement speed. And, of course, we got the nade. It's the explosive glove. It's one of your best options for fighting against Twintel. But, I mean, when you've got a Chakram on the other side, it's very well designed for stopping Ninjara's movements. You can see he has... A lot of Ninjara's kits is he teleports. On his shield, if he's not frozen, he teleports. If he dashes in the air, he teleports. Ninjara's a very flighty character. He's the fastest character in the game. Outside of, like, certain characters buffed up. So he can be really hard to catch. But, I mean, on a stage like Buster Beach, kind of a different story because Ninjara does not have nearly as much space to be able to move around and breathe. Which means that Twintel is going to have a much easier time kind of keeping up the pressure, keeping up this damage. And making sure that the advantage is going in his favor. Changing things up. We're going in with the Glusher. Big explosive poison arm interrupting that rush. And out comes a counter rush. 200, 325 damage, and we keep that poison stack fresh. You don't see poison very much in these competitions either. It does a slow damage over time, as you can see. But on top of that, if you pay close attention to Twintel, we'll see if you can see it. She's going to move around a little awkwardly. It looks like she's glitching here and there. And what's happening there is Poison has a little bit of like an interruption on movement that causes the character to like stutter for like a couple of frames. And it's not common, or it's not typically too effective unless you're keeping the pressure going, because then all of a sudden your opponent's having to react to a lot of things, and they're not always going to be able to get away with stuff because they're getting interrupted so much by the poison ticks. Poison can stack up to 3 times, and the more stacks of poison there are, the more you stutter too, so it is very scary. MrTable shifting up his, or seems to be trying to change up his approach more so than changing his arms. Manages to lock ALUMOX down for a meaty 320 rush, keeping this damage going, and now has the health lead. But this Glusher is still just causing problems. Out comes the block. This is just going to be shield chip damage. ALUMOX trying to find a way to just kind of maybe burn through that shield at this point because it is weakened, or just kind of power through. Table is definitely responding very accordingly to this pressure. You can see he's slowing down immensely and is making sure that he is waiting things out so that when that Glusher is available, he can respond to it appropriately and punish it. Or he's trying to, at least. Keyword is trying. We got a rush. This is probably locked in. It's not going to kill, but ALUMOX is 1 hit away. She cannot take any more damage. And MrTable still pretty healthy, especially as we're moving into the last 10 seconds. MrTable's 100% stalling here. There's no reason to do anything else as the last second ticks down. The rush could have done something now, but it's too little too late. And MrTable's going to be able to time her out with some very patient plays and claim the first point. Very surprised that it was Ninjara in Buster Beach, because that is a max brass stage. Though I trust the player has her reasons as to why, and probably matchup might not be working as well for her as she'd like. Heading into our next stage, we are quickly, these two are just itching to fight, and we're rushing into our next one as we're heading to DNA Lab. This is a staple of competitive arms. It has been around for the days this game opened up, and it is a favorite of a lot of people. It is Zoner City here. You got 6 pillars, each with 3 health, which means that it's going to take a while to be able to take them down. It's a long rectangular room, which means there's a lot of space, and those stairs can lead to a couple of strange interactions. That said, while those pillars are hardy, a simple grab is enough to be able to take them out in a single shot. Gets the chop room to grab combo, and that is ALUMOX quickly dropping down below half health within the first 30 seconds of this game. ALUMOX trying to get some pressure going, but at such a close range, it's proving to be really difficult as she can't get these arms charged up, and the Glusher just not working out well enough. Gets 405 damage, and that's such a strong rush. I forget how explosive those two are. Table does not want to make the risk, pops the rush, goes for the KO here, and is going to claim the first point. Could have actually held on. I feel like that the move that ALUMOX just made with those punches did leave her very open and vulnerable, so that MrTable could have gone for a grab, could have held on to the rush to come into this, but sometimes it's better safe than sorry, and, I mean, you want to just secure the points. Heading into our second round, MrTable eating poison for lunch or dinner, depending on your time zone. Maybe it's for breakfast. Who's to say? Maybe it's even a midnight snack, but MrTable is feasting on this damage right now. Is just above 25% health. There is a there's a 50 health difference between these two players, which arguably puts ALUMOX in a position where she either wants to time things out or she wants to close this up as quick as possible. It's definitely putting a lot of pressure on MrTable as well to try to bring things back. But he's fortunate in that there's a lot of time to be able to recover. Forces ALUMOX to go for the rush though, and that is going to be a point or balancer here. But MrTable has a really good advantage having the rush. Saw him consider another arm. I think that would have been a major mistake. That Glusher is definitely causing problems. But there's a lot of situations where that Glusher's probably going to win out even more, or that nade's going to start to become an even greater problem if MrTable doesn't set things up appropriately. Goes for the rush here. Excellent catch. Seeing ALUMOX kind of just trying to rush out and punish any grab attempts. Knocked into critical here. ALUMOX does not have that much more health to work with, where that last round was so much more in her favor. This one is definitely not. A clean block. We do get the shield break, but just out of reach. We do get the poison. This is an opportunity. If she goes for the Glusher, misses. Table is going to be able to recover. The rush is now on the line, and MrTable will be able to lock this down. There's basically nothing that ALUMOX could do here, and that is Table claiming a 2-0 lead. Deepening his advantage, deepening his control, and just showing that just how hard it is to fight against Twintel. Very scary character. Very, very scary character. Especially when being commanded by a strong pilot such as MrTable. It is absolutely nightmarish to try to keep up with a character that literally can slow time down around her and just get things going exactly how she wants. You kind of have to play her game, except for a few situations where you are able to make your name and kind of force them to play at your pace, but it is not easy to do. It is not a pleasant experience more generally. But if anybody can kind of set the pace, set the tempo, it's Max Brass. And we've still got the nade and the Glusher. I bet those arms are coming back in. They're going to be even the Chakram is still going to be a strong consideration. I feel like it's not the best. It's definitely not the best out of those three choices. Max Brass, big sexy. A big advantage to Max Brass is he has larger arms, which means it's even easier for him to kind of power through a lot of MrTable's attacks. But ALUMOX really needs her arms to get charged up, and she really wants to get that beefed up state. There's 2 ways for Max Brass to be able to do that. I already explained the first, which was charging up. Second, right there, you land a grab. Now you've got the big tempo. You've got the big nasty power. You've got the Brass. And you do huge damage. Really doesn't help that Brass has one of the strongest grabs in the game at 170 damage. A little bit more chip. Table is in the lead right now. Goes for the punish play. Manages to step aside. 320. ALUMOX isn't critical, but that just means that the Brass is even more raw. We do have a good position. ALUMOX can only survive 1 stray hit. But, I mean, that's still a lot of hits when it comes to a big Brass who just is super safe. Super powerful, permacharge, full power. There's the first hit. MrTable just about has rush ready. Might be looking for that rush as his way to close things out. ALUMOX playing things patiently, recognizing that if she is not careful, Table might be able to secure a very cheeky win. Or might go for the rush. Actually takes too long. Didn't have the rush. ALUMOX gets her rush first and catches MrTable with a stray nade. Both are now ready with their rush. And we are moving into the next round. ALUMOX is still here and swinging. Makes the call to go for a Chakram, which I am curious to see how this goes. Table kind of just waiting things out. Tried to bait a rush, but did not get anything out of that. Here's a good call. Ends up locking in, and we get 220 damage. Now it's MrTable's turn to go on the offense, and he manages to secure a nice 330. And now has advantage for pressuring as ALUMOX is in the corner. Trying to chase after with that Chakram, but ALUMOX managing to kind of keep herself on the move. Gets the stun, had the nade out, so could not go for a grab confirm. And MrTable is going to be able to keep this pressure. But the second time's the charm, and Brass is beefed! That is a big, strong Max Brass coming in. Throwing out a bunch of punches. MrTable will be able to box with ALUMOX though. And after a set time, that beefed up state disappears. And Brass is back to that standard back and forth. We've got a rush. We got a Chilla knockdown. MrTable can technically take ALUMOX out here. Tries to go for a panic, like a very defensive rush play there. Trying to reach Table out. Ends up getting punished. And I think this might be curtains. Catching that enraged state with the rush is an incredible play. And that evens up this score. This may be match point, as MrTable needs just 1 more win. That Chakram was really nasty, but I definitely like the Glusher more. It's fun, it's big, it's pink. MrTable playing this very carefully, trying very cautious, but gets grabbed anyways. And now the Glusher is this big, explosive pink ball of pain. And we got 2 stacks of poison. Another grab. ALUMOX going in for another grab. Ends up getting frozen, losing that enraged state. But we throw out the rush. It's going to catch! 375! ALUMOX survives and claims the point. Bringing the score to 2-1 in MrTable's favor. That Ninjara is good. Don't get me wrong. That was a good Ninjara. But Brass is Max Brass. And you don't mess with the Brass. The problem is now MrTable has free reign on stage choice. ALUMOX does get multiple stage bans. But outside of that, it's free reign. MrTable gets to pick where we're going. And it could be a stage that's bad for Max Brass. Force ALUMOX to switch back to Ninjara, which might not work well for her. But also, if the stage... Some stages might work really well for Ninjara's or ALUMOX's Ninjara. I wouldn't know. I can't say for certain. But there's a lot of situations, too, where... Yeah, like, if she decides to stick with Max Brass, there are stages that are going to be a bit more of a struggle. Granted, it is Max Brass we're talking about. DNA, you can make an argument that DNA Lab might be one of the weaker stages for Brass. Sparring Ring is an explosive choice, but here we are. This is I would say it's the smallest stage in the game. It is the smallest stage. It's about the size of Spring Stadium, but without the room from the springboard, so it's just this tight little square. Super scary, super intense. When you have characters that are very advantaged or very aggressive players, this is the stage you look for because it's the most explosive. We're going to be looking at either a complete trampoline from ALUMOX, or we're going to be looking at a trampoline from MrTable. There's just no if, and, or buts. It's going to be one trampoline the other, and then if an opportune moment appears, the other gets tempo because Max Brass just jump grabs, and Max Brass has a stupid jump. And all of a sudden now it's Brass's advantage. And he just like bashes your skull in with the fist helmet he's wearing. And you can't do anything. And then all of a sudden MrTable just throws out a random grab, or gets one actress or a read off. And then now it's MrTable again. And then a rush happens. And then it's just right there! We got MrTable in the corner. We got high explosive. We got the poison stack in. We got that stutter going in. We got an explosive knockback. And both players immediately knocked back into even. These poison stacks are just giving Table a hard time, as he is just quickly getting burned down. It does not help that the Glusher does 130 damage charged, and then every poison stack does a maximum of 12 damage. If it refreshes and goes up to 2, that's 24 damage guaranteed to happen. If it's up to level 3, then it's 36. A lot of damage. Rushes are ready on both ends. That could have been a good rush, but I think MrTable is looking for some kind of lock-in to close this out. But he's gonna die instead, because what am I saying here? It's explosive! And ALUMOX has all the bombs on her side right now, taking Table out. And both players coming into this next round with rush. That just means that this is probably going to be a neither want to play the card, because whoever presses the rush button first means the other will have the advantage to press with rush later. It's going to be ALUMOX trying to go for a read on the dash, but ends up getting punished by MrTable, who manages to throw out his own retort in time. But now ALUMOX is at 25% health. We get the freeze. We get the grab, though. That sets ALUMOX to critical, because grabs do not lose their damage. And another explosive game. We are back to match points. Both players have used up their rushes. We've got another poison. We got the Nay knockback. That is time for ALUMOX to charge up, but she was kind of in the middle of another action. She's just stacking poison. That's 36 guaranteed damage. What is MrTable supposed to do right now? This game is done. This game is done. Out comes the rush. What is he doing here? What can he do? Nothing. He's dead. No words need to be said otherwise. Score is now 2 apiece. And I am forgetting to update the stages reliably. So we're just going to do that quickly right now. It's not my fault these games are so hyped. We are now on a score of 2-2. That could be a really good game for MrTable. That stage is literally a coin flip. Like, not literally, obviously. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of nuance. I feel like this MrTable has some tricks, but he needs to kind of hold pressure and keep it as Twin Tail. If he doesn't, he loses, because that Glusher just beats him. We're seeing the Glusher just beats him time and time again. And so if he doesn't have a good answer for it, this is probably actually not a good stage pick. Because this is a really good stage for the Glusher. There's a lot less room to dodge the Glusher. It's a lot easier for the Glusher to overweight your attacks. And it's a lot harder to stay out of the way of that explosion. So MrTable kind of needs to be not rocking his socks right now and really playing this game. Gets the grab confirmed. That is some solid damage. Gonna be able to recover from that poison. He's got the rush ready. Gets a huge chain of damage and will be able to take ALUMOX out with a startling fast round. plainly showing what I was just saying. If he cannot lose tempo, he cannot lose advantage. The second he loses advantage, it's over. Or there's a huge risk for it being over. Gets the stun, gets the knockdown. ALUMOX is in the corner, hoping to bait out a rush. There is the rush. ALUMOX using the rush specifically to create room. Try to get shield chip damage. We get a little bit more knockback. Ooh, we get the stun from the Chakram, which is going to grant a huge opportunity for MrTable to run with this. He's got the rush ready. ALUMOX is basically in KO range for this rush. He just needs the setup, and there it is! ALUMOX not able to hold her own. MrTable slows things down, forces the game to play at his pace, and that is going to be it with a score of 3-2. MrTable will be advancing to the semifinals. And I'm going to quick